The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Thursday morning, 60 minutes to go until that opening bell, and we got markets in positive territory right now. You got the S&Ps up 28 points, trading at 33.80. Quite an acceleration. We're now just right at basically the highs that we had yesterday. We'll zoom in on the S&Ps. We make a high at about 2 p.m. Eastern time. Just above this level, really. That high made at 33.84. You make it as high as 33.88 this morning. We're now 7 points off that level at 33.80 in the S&P. NASDAQ up 146 points, 11,553. You see we're actually over the highs that we had on yesterday on the Dow. That was the NASDAQ. On the Dow, we're up 201 points, 27,870, right at the highs of yesterday. We had quite a little sell-off in the final 2 hours of trading yesterday on the news that talks had been furloughed for yet another day between Secretary Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. Market sells off on the failed stimulus bill. Whether that happens today, a lot of speculation in the market as the market's up. S&Ps right now, we're looking up 0.8% in the positive. Jumping around to commodities, crude oil down 67 cents at $39.55. We got the gold contract positive $15 at $19.11 right now. Was as high as $19.14. Silver up 43 cents at $23.92. Silver not quite back up to where we were Tuesday night just yet. And notes and bonds, a little bit of lower price and higher yield. Look at that sell-off yesterday through to today. We got the 10-year minus 7 ticks right now at 139.10. We got the 30-year off 25 ticks at 175.16. In terms of what else you have happening in the market, so it all starts with the stimulus. At least today, maybe tomorrow, Congress supposed to adjourn at the end of this week as they go home and campaign for themselves. A lot of people in Congress, of course, campaigning over the next about 4.5 weeks we're at this point. Whether that happens this week or not, we'll probably find out more today. If it does not happen, you're going to see the Democratic House vote on that bill anyway to get a vote, to get people on record so that they can say that they are at least trying to push for a stimulus. The White House probably wants to avoid those types of optics, wants to avoid it hopefully to get a stimulus for the amount of jobs we're losing, and we'll jump right into that segue. Goldman job cuts drive 2020 global banker call towards we're now at 70,000. So the Wall Street firm eliminated about 1% of its workforce, or roughly 400 positions, according to people with the knowledge of the matter. Now, 400 isn't that much, but you're not talking about a company that employs 1 million people. I guess, what's that, about 40,000 maybe? Adding to the disclosures this week by other banks would take the total that announced this year to almost 70,000. Bank job cuts announced in 2020, on course to top last year's level. And then you jump to the airlines, of course. American, United to cut a combined 32,000 jobs amid the U.S. talks. This is one of the pressure points, really, for the stimulus talks. There would be 8 in there for these airlines. And furloughs will occur while debate on new assistance drags on. Companies to reverse if Congress extends payroll support. Talk about putting one out there, right? We're going to lay off 32,000 jobs unless you give us a bunch of government money. We need airlines. I don't know how you solve this except to say these companies just went through the roof over the last 10 or 12 years. They have stock buybacks. They have dividends. And now they say we're cutting every job we have unless we get government stimulus. Yes, completely unforeseen. But the airlines are not new to this game. You're supposed to keep money around for dire times, not just use all the money and then it's almost a too big to fail type thing where we as a society, we're not going to let airlines just fail and cities just be inaccessible for the economy. If we aren't able to move around the country with ease, that's one of the biggest factors that allows us to have an economy. It's one of the reasons right now where everybody, we're doing a lot telecommuting and so forth, but the inability to travel in that same way. So they're applying the pressure, and rightfully so, as a company, and maybe we just consider what type of regulations we're going to allow these airlines to continue to just take money during profitable years and then take government money the moment that anything is a downturn and they're needed. But nonetheless, steep job cuts and a lot of pressure on the talks. So Mnuchin and Pelosi, they're going to speak again today. I believe they spoke for 90 minutes yesterday, and where the differences really come in, 2.2 trillion is the number that the House is going to vote on. I believe 1.5 trillion, 1.6. So Mnuchin offers Pelosi maximum 1.6. So at 1.6 to 2.2, you have a difference in the amount of weekly additional unemployment. It looks like Mnuchin has about 400 in there, less than the 600 the Democrats want, but more than the 300 the White House puts forward. And the package would also provide $200 billion in assistance to state and local governments, $100 billion more than the White House. But I believe the Democrats have a lot more for state and local government aid in their version of the bill. It'll be interesting to see how this happens. So they met for 90 minutes yesterday. There's so many working parts. And then you also have to get something that passes through the Senate, which is not an automatic as well. Even if the White House concedes, there would be a lot of pressure if the president goes for that and the House Democrats go for that. But we are probably going to see that play out tonight. There's a lot of optimism, yet some of that optimism pairing a bit. All right, what else we got going on? I wanted to pull over. Weekly jobless claims out at 8:30 a.m. That number coming out, they were looking for 850,000. Pretty consistent number, right at about 800 to 900,000 new people claiming joblessness. Now, we've went over some of the specific companies, right? You get the airlines, maybe 32,000 right off the bat. So first-time claims, 837. The market was looking for about 850. Fifth consecutive week that they're under a million. It's really interesting how you can phrase all this data and the way you phrase it. Fifth consecutive week that they're under a million. The other way to saying that is that the record prior to COVID was, I believe, 700,000 in any given week. And we are stuck above that number, folks. And we never saw that number before on a weekly basis before COVID. It's October 1st. COVID started in March. And we are consistently losing more jobs in a week than we've ever lost before on the weekly jobless claims. Continuing claims, though, that's the number I'm always looking at, falling by almost a million. That's a good deal. They were down by, I believe, 800, 700, 800,000 last time. So you got continuing claims falling by 980,000 to 11.77 million. Continuing claims runs a week behind. So we're getting the data for weekly jobless claims as of last Friday. It's Thursday. Continuing claims goes back almost 2 weeks for that number. It lags a bit. So the market taking that, and as we jump over, we'll put it on a 5-minute for the S&Ps. We're about 8 points off the high, a little bit of volatility on that 830 number, but holding pretty steady as it's going to be anticipation of what happens today between Mnuchin, between Pelosi, and how that plays out. And then if they do get a stimulus bill passed, right, what kind of stimulus is it? How's the market going to contribute to that, react to that, I should say. And, I mean, the airlines, just to take a peek, yesterday, quite a pop right on the open. It all waned, and you finished actually flat, almost negative for the day maybe on American. We're up again today, slightly though, not anywhere where we were yesterday on American. Delta Airlines, pretty similar action. United Airlines, again, much the same. Higher today, but not quite at the highs we were at yesterday. We'll finish this first segment with the VIX. We have the VIX at 2582 right now. Stay tuned, folks. S&P is positive by 27. I'll be right back in 3 minutes. See what else we have on tap for some earnings on some of those equities.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps right near the pre-market session highs. We're about 6 points from those highs. Right now, trading 33.83, up 0.9% on the S&Ps. Jumping around the companies with earnings this morning. PepsiCo out with their numbers, strong numbers, traded up to 142. We're back to about 140, closed yesterday at 138.60. They started their conference call at 8:15 a.m. Eastern time. And Pepsi quarterly revenue, close those alerts out, grows by 5.3%, fueled by higher snack sales. Makes sense, folks. Have you been to the supermarket lately and stocked up? If you're spending a lot of time at home, I certainly have. Publix getting a majority of my business, but a lot of PepsiCo brands probably in there as well. Gatorade, I know for sure. Pepsi said net sales grew by 5.3%. Company topped analyst estimates for earnings and revenue. Also provided an update to its 2020 outlook after pulling its prior forecast in late April. Earnings per share, $1.66. Marco was looking for $1.49. How about revenue beating in a big way? $18.09 billion versus $17.23. Fiscal third quarter net income, $2.29 billion in 90 days. Not bad. Selling drinks and snacks. Net sales rose at 5.3%. Both its Frito-Lay and Quaker Foods business reported organic revenue growth of 6%, despite economies opening up and consumers feeling more comfortable leaving their homes. Frito-Lay saw higher sales in its Tostitos, Cheetos, Doritos. Look at those. They like those O's. Tostitos, Cheetos, Doritos. While Quaker Foods pasta and macaroni and cheese dishes reported double-digit sales growth. Pasta, mac and cheese, Tostitos, Cheetos, Doritos. Gotta love it. We're trying to get capacity as quickly as we can. That's how popular this is. The company is struggling to keep up with demands for its new Cheetos, macaroni and cheese. It would make sense, folks, right? If you're crushing the market selling macaroni and cheese and you're crushing the market selling Cheetos, who's the genius in the back room that says we're making Cheetos, macaroni and cheese, folks? I laugh, I kid, but nonetheless, traded higher today, up to about 142 from 138. We put this on a daily for some context here. We're not quite back up to pre-COVID levels, which is interesting when you think about it. Now, they are losing a lot of revenue for restaurants, of course, But, man, the snack business, right, even stocking up on sodas, on Gatorade at home, pretty strong. And Pepsi not quite back up to those levels yet, but strong numbers today. We're going to open a bit higher, somewhere around about 140 for Pepsi. All right, Bed Bath & Beyond out with their numbers as well. Same-store sales gain for the first time since 2016. Pretty remarkable with everything going on. You got a company like Bed Bath & Beyond possibly turning it around with the ability of e-commerce to step in. Reported first same-store sales increase in nearly 4 years. Online business surged more than 80% during the quarter. When home is everything, we're really poised to be the epicenter of that. At least that's their hope, right? That's what the CEO is saying. Retailer announced its nationwide rollout of same-day delivery. So I believe this gets in that you got to pay like $5 to a service for same-day delivery. Maybe they talk about it down here. Yeah, but I don't know if it's free. Maybe it is. Yeah, they talk about it. Nonetheless, we're trading higher, of course, on these numbers. Adjusted earnings per share, 50 cents. They were looking for a loss of 23. How about that? Revenue, $2.69 billion versus $2.6. Net income rose to $217 million from a loss of $138. I mean, that's a turnaround. You get a company making money. Net sales fell about 1% to $2.69 billion. So that's interesting. They have net sales falling to $2.69 billion. But they made $217 million as opposed to losing $138 million as they probably trimmed some fat, closed some stores. Same-store sales rose 6% in the first quarter. Analysts have been calling for a decline of 2.1%. Folks, these are the types of numbers that just signal a complete turnaround. The market was looking for losses and shrinking same-store sales, and they made $217 million and had 6% growth on same-store sales. Now, can they maintain this growth? That's the question I have right off the bat. They have 1,476 stores. They plan to close roughly 200, mostly Bed Bath & Beyond locations over the next 2 years. 63 stores are shuttering during this quarter. It said those 200 stores generated $1 billion in annual net sales in fiscal 2019, but it hopes to move at least 15 to 20% of those dollars online or to other stores. There's the key, right? And maybe they could get even more. Online's going to be the deal, folks. If you can get same-day delivery, if you have a store within reach, maybe you don't need that physical location. A company like Bed Bath & Beyond, probably most particularly. I always get the BBBY or BBY, which is Best Buy. Yeah, BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond. And so look where we're going to open, 1775. We're right up here into the highs on this last year. We'll back this up, though, on a monthly. And there's the real collapse from about $80 at the beginning of 2015. And it's a one-way trip down to a low of $3. Crazy, right? $8 to $3 in a company like Bed Bath & Beyond. We're going to open at 17. Man, we got a lot of room if this company can turn itself around. And those numbers are really something that is a huge turnaround. And you're seeing it right now. You're up almost 20%. You're going to be on the open for Bed Bath & Beyond. Well, hey, that's a lot of money that they're taking in. I mean, jumping back to it, the revenue, it's a big number. $2.7 billion in revenue in 90 days. If you're able to do some business online, maybe that's why they're able to turn that corner and make some profits. But that caught me off guard today. Not a company I would have expected to crush it out of the park with the surprise earnings. But they're in the perfect time. If you can't do it right now, when everybody's shopping for home goods, I mean, to put, just so, I mean, we really compare it to companies that have really flourished. There's Wayfair from 100 to 21, now sitting at 300. And how about even a company like Restoration Hardware? High-end for sure, but Wayfair is expensive as well. You go from 250 down to 73, we're up to 382. I mean, remarkable. Even a company like Target is really outperforming Walmart. We're seeing Target make all-time highs. I mean, look at this. The last few days, Target, today we're going to open about 159. And even, of course, Walmart, they've had quite a little pullback, but a strong day yesterday for Walmart. And I imagine they're going to be right in the same boat in terms of being able to compete with the big dog. Now, Amazon, interesting. Amazon gets a price upgrade today from one of the analysts. We'll jump over to that in a moment. But, yeah, we've had quite a pullback. But you also just traded from 16.26 to 35.52. We're now trading at about 3,200 on the open today. You did dip down as low as, what is our low there? 28.71. Now, to get, because I did have it up before we pull up that news, Amazon, where are we? I know he's in. There we go. Pivotal Research. So they raised the target to 4,500, the highest on Wall Street. They were already at 39.25. The stock's at 3,200 right now, calling it the best mega cap stock on a multi-year basis. Hard to argue against that in terms of what they have going on, the areas of growth that they might be in for. Apple today will jump to the FANG stocks at about 118 right now. You got Netflix shares open at about 510. We'll put this on a 15-minute to see the action overnight. Facebook shares, FB, opening higher, and it's going to be an interesting day, folks. We'll see what happens in terms of these talks when news begins to break. It'll be interesting to see where that deal falls if they get it done. Right now, we get the VIX at about 25.78. That VIX seems very comfortable at about 26. Maybe it's priced that way until we get into the election. Definitely priced that way until we find out some news today on the stimulus bill. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back to finish up the program.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab. Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&Ps positive by about 25 points, a little bit. I mean, these are small moves considering to the moves that we get today when you find out any news on the stimulus deal. But we are off a bit from the highs we had, about 11 S&P points off that level, 33.77. You see the lows at about 4:30 a.m., 33.67. Going to jump over to Google real briefly. Google out there right now, we got a bid ask of about 14.85 by 14.90. So up a bit from where we closed yesterday with the market. Jumping over to the article here. So they're going to pay publishers over $1 billion for news content. They're going to set aside $1 billion to cover the program's first 3 years. And really what it comes down to is news sites have been pushing it makes sense myself, right? I use Google to find news. And yet Google gets all of that for free. The Google News Showcase product launches Thursday. Will display branded story panels curated by partner publishers, allowing them to highlight their content using timelines, bullets-related news articles. Google and Facebook have faced heat from news executives and regulators who've urged the platforms to pay for the rights to host the news articles, which is basically what they do. Publishers argue that their journalism was drawing users to those platforms. I Google News all the time. Thursday's launch builds on a licensing program Google announced in June to pay publishers. I wonder if that has anything to do with, and I say it seriously, the antitrust suit that's potentially looming, and maybe it's just the complete hold they have on everything. Google really does. We could probably benefit from some more competition. I mean, there's a great 60-minute story out there, folks, if you find it, about Google. This goes back a few years ago, and they had the founder of Yelp on there talking about that he could not create his company in today's Google because they steer away from any other company. They already have their own version of Restaurant Finder. They find everything for you, so it stifles that type of competition. All right, stay tuned, folks. We got a man, Larry Pezzamento. He's coming up live at 9 o'clock. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. We get natural gas inventories today at 10:30, and we probably find out some information, good or bad, on the odds of a second stimulus bill coming down the line. The market waiting, anticipating up 26 points. Stay tuned, folks. We got our man, Larry Pezzamento. He's coming up next. We'll be right back.